Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC doing some more flashlight content but actually I was going to say a few weeks, but I think it was a little bit longer than that. It's maybe just over a month. Klarus got in touch and asked me about their E5 flashlight. Now I really do like this new form factor that we're seeing a lot in flashlights recently, where instead of going from a very cylindrical tubular light, we're going to something that's a little bit more flatter, a little bit more discreet, something that fits in your pocket a little bit easier. And yeah, I was really intrigued by this. So yeah, you know, let's take a closer look. Now, as far as an unboxing is concerned with it, it's very simple. Inside the box here, so this is a very standard kind of Klarus box. You have the light, you have a USB Type-C charger, and you have the instructions. On here, it does give you a wee little bit of information as far as the maximum lumens is 470 lumens, and the weight of this is 36 grams. And that's kind of it. I haven't scanned this QR code, but I'm guessing it'll either take you to the website or it will take you through to the PDF brochure kind of thing, so that you can see more about it. Now I did mention that the weight on here, so 36 grams, this is constructed from a very lightweight but strong aluminium, and as far as the measurements are concerned, so it comes in at 106 millimeters by 25 millimeters, which is just an inch across by 15 millimeters deep. Very light, I will say it's very light, but luckily, and I think as well, I think this comes down mainly to the aluminium that it's made from, it does feel sturdy. When I first got it out, can you remember those old iPhones that had the rounded corners? So this has the rounded corners to them, and I think they were the models that you'd sit on and they'd bend. In fact, I think most iPhones you sit on and they bend. It definitely feels sturdier than that. I will give it its dues for that. Now I did mention, as far as the charging is concerned, so there is an internal battery within this, and it charges via a USB Type-C port, which is here on the side. So when you lift this up, when you pull this up, we'll definitely say, again, just to point out with this, that the bung that goes in here is seated in there really well, which is actually quite strange, because as far as the IP rating is concerned, I would have assumed that the IP rating on this was higher. It's actually an IPX4. They've not tested for dust, which is the X, and the 4, so the maximum that it can go up to is 8. So you can't really submerge this. However, it still does mean that it's a reasonably outdoors friendly light. If you need to take this outside and it gets wet, it's fine. If you splash water onto it, then try and keep it dry, and that will prolong the longevity of it. But yeah, it's not something that you can submerge, so definitely keep that in mind. But as I was mentioning, so the little bung on the side here, there is your USB-C port. As I usually do, so I tried it with the cable that comes with it. Obviously it works perfectly. There were 6 other cables that I did it. 4 of them worked, 2 of them didn't. Now that's not the fault of this light, it's the fault of the cables. You know how sometimes it's more to do not with the connector that goes in there, it's more to do with the amount of plastic and crap that you've got around the end of the cable. So it was the cable's fault rather than that. But they're the standard 6 cables that I test with it anyway. Can you charge, or at least will this still work while it's charging? Unfortunately not. While this is charging, there are some red and blue lights that appear on here, and it does mean that when you try and press the button to turn it on or off, or do whatever it is that you want to do with it, it doesn't work whilst charging. Again, that's just another consideration. For many of you that certainly isn't an issue, but for a few maybe it might possibly be an issue. On the bottom here there is a magnet. I've got a knife with me. Yeah, I have got a knife, and I will say, really impressed with the magnet on this. So rather than just being some little kind of naff magnet that doesn't stick, this one is very strong. It will definitely take the weight of the actual light from any angle. Now it's a reasonably thin long, so if you push down on it like that, it can come off, and obviously it will come off, but just by angling it by a few degrees keeps it on there even stronger. So if you did need to use this to maybe have this kind of pointed in a certain direction, then you can do that with the magnet that's on the end here. Now, although we've kind of seen the LED array on here, there are actually two LED functions on here. The one is here on the end, and then there is this large function here, and it's all operated through a single button. Now, I will say, and you will do this, when I hold this, I want to press this button, but this isn't a button. This is the bung for the USB port. I think with them being so close to each other, one thing that I have found is that I just press the wrong one. If there was any way that they could change this, I think for a future one, if there's an E6 lined up, if they could move this, and I'm guessing it's probably to do with some sort of the internal circuitry that it's there, if there was a way that they could move this further away from the operational button, I think if they could do that, it would just make it easier. It's not a bad thing. Again, it's just another one of those observations, but it's just one of those ones you go, damn it, I pressed the USB button again instead of the on button. So when you have it's here on the side, and all of the functions for this light are all done through this single button. Now, I will say I do quite like the UI on this. It's a very simple UI and it's very easy to learn. However, it's not a good UI for me to demonstrate this product to you, mainly because, so when I turn this on, if I press that within 3 seconds, it will change the function of this. Now, again, this is only for me showing you how this works in a demonstration. When you're playing around with it, you'll find that you change a lot of the settings by accident, but if you use it as you would just normally use a light, then it's a good UI. So if I turn this on now, it's on its low mode here on the front. You have 3 modes on here. You have low, medium and high, and there is also a turbo mode. So I've turned this on, you know, I'm looking for my keys. I've got this stuck on the bonnet of my car because I'm trying to find something, I'm trying to fix something, and I'm just using it, and after a while I think, right, I'm done, and I press it again and I turn it off. So the reason for that is if I turn this on and leave it for 3 seconds before I then do anything with it, this button on the side will then turn it off. If I turn it on and press the button again within 3 seconds, it will then cycle through the modes, which is, as I say, because I'm playing with this around, you'll see me cycling modes when really all I'm meant to be doing is turning it on and off. But to demonstrate that, so I can press it on, run low, medium, high, and then I can press it again and it has this kind of emergency services style mode. I think if you're broken down on the side of the motorway, a dual carriageway or something like that, you can kind of stick this onto the side of your car so that you can signal that you're there. I think if you are part of the emergency services maybe, and there is a pocket clip on the back of here, it's quite a big pocket clip. With this being an inch, it also means that you can slip this into your PAL's webbing and you can have it poking out through the top. Or again, maybe if you are part of the RAC, maybe you're part of the AA, you could have this clipped inside your back pocket so that where your bum is poking out into the road, you're the thing that people are trying not to hit. So I think it's useful that it has that. Now, because this has been on for longer than 3 seconds, if I turn this off or press this button again, the only button that there is on this side, and then turn it back on again, it will remember where it was, which was on this emergency services mode, and you know, you'll just be able to use it. Now, if you want to turn this emergency services mode off, because it's now already been on here for longer than 3 seconds, if I press this, it will turn it off. So you have to turn it back on again, press it within 3 seconds, which will go all the way around. So you've got low, medium, high, emergency services, and then off. So now if I turn it back on again, it will be on low, and then I can press it again. It's on medium. Medium's the mode that I want to do. I can look around, I can see all the things that I want to do. It's now been on for longer than 3 seconds, and if I press this button again, it will turn it off. If I turn it back on again, it will remember what the last mode that I had it was on. So it's actually very simple, and it is very simple. And I was practicing using this beforehand and pressing the buttons way too quickly, so I've had to purposely slow down the way that I've done that now, so that you can see it coming on and off or cycling through the modes. But what you will find is when you first get this, what you probably do is you'll turn it on and you'll keep clicking and you'll be doing this, and you're like, wow, now it's even changed to the end, and you're like, yeah. So once you get used to it, it is very simple. Now, okay, let's turn this on. Also, I did mention that you had this on the end here. So there are some double clicks and there are some triple clicks here on the side. So if I do a double click, it will turn on the strobe mode here on the end. If I press it again, it will turn it off. Turn it back on again. If I do a triple click, 1, 2, 3. It will then power on the turbo mode. So the special functions which you get on most lights are either a double click or a triple click, and this works in exactly the same manner. Now if I turn it back on again, we're back onto the low mode, which is where it was before. If you want to use the end LEDs here instead of a double or a triple click, double click will give you the will give you the strobe. Instead, what you can do is you can hold it down for 2 seconds, and it will switch the function. So now on here you have a high. Now it's been on for longer than 3 seconds, so it won't allow me to switch through the modes. So if I turn it back on again and then press, it will then move it down onto the low mode. So whereas on the I'll call this the main light here on the side, or we could call this the body light. The body light has low, medium, high and emergency services, whereas the LED on the end has high, low and off. Or I suppose, yeah, high, low and off. So if I turn this back on, then it will remember what it was on. Turn it back off, and there you go. So you can cycle through those. Now when this is on then, and if you want to go back to this main function, you can do a long press, and then that will cycle that back round onto the body light. Now I'm trying to turn it off, but it won't turn off because it's been less than 3 seconds, so it's now cycling through them. This is that bit that I think being able to showcase this to you with this UI makes it a little weird. But in actual reality, using this, generally you'll just probably use one of those functions, turn it on, do whatever it is that you need to do, turn it back off again, and then you'll go about. Or, like I say, when you first get this, you'll be trigger happy with it and think, damn it, I don't know what I'm doing, which was me for the first few days when I got it. But I definitely say that once you get used to the UI, it is very easy to use. Now I was just thinking, I don't think we will go down to the woods. We'll go down to the pond tonight, so we'll have a look at this in the dark. Okay, so we're down at the pond. Now, remembering that you have to turn this on and off within 3 seconds to be able to cycle through these, there's probably going to be quite a bit of me either having to turn it off and on again because of the way that it works. So this is using the main body light. I remember before we were body light and maybe the end light, whatever you want to call these. So on its lowest setting, it is on 30 lumens, which I think is actually quite good for a light like this. Now, just to preface a lot of this, I look at a lot of super high-powered military style kind of law enforcement tactical flashlights. This just isn't that guy. The amount of lumens that you get from this, it really is, it's more of an EDC or maybe a utility style light, especially with the way that it is with these two lights. So on its lowest setting, this is on 30 lumens. So holding this up like this, you can see it just gives a very warm flood. If I point it out and then move this around, as far as hotspots are concerned, there's no real hotspot to this, and the skirt around the edge isn't particularly defined as well, mainly because you just have that large LED. I'm not going to turn this around to the camera, but you have that large LED on the front. Now, if I press this button again, it's just going to turn it off. So I'll turn it off and then back on again. Low is 30 lumens. So if I turn this off, again, I press the wrong button there, turn it off, turn it back on again, and then press it again, we're now on medium. So that jumps up from 30 lumens up to 70 lumens. Now it is pushing out a decent enough amount of light. You might just be able to see the tree there, you might not actually, but now holding this up a little bit higher so that we can get a good flood here. It does flood a reasonably good surroundings. This again is the medium setting. Again, just kind of looking around here. We can't see the ornamental waterfall up there, but we can certainly hear this. And this again, as I mentioned, this is your 70 lumens. Now I'll turn it back off again, because obviously, you know, press that button, it'll turn it off. Turn it back on, and then press again. Now this has bumped it up to its high setting. Ooh, just itchy nose. The high setting on this is 287 lumens. Now, hopefully you'll be able to see, flooding this area, it really does pump out a decent amount of light. If I come onto the jetty now, no, it's been raining a bit recently, we can't really see into the water. You might be able to see the ornamental waterfall over there, but now that tree that I pointed at before that's there, it is a little bit easier to see. You struggle to see the trees on the opposite side, which we may have done with other lights. There you might just be able to see the island in the middle of the pond. But again, I think the main use for this really is a utility style or an EDC style light that you can kind of, you know, it's just perfect for what you need. If you're walking the dog and you need to see 10 meters ahead of you, then you can see that with this. So that's on high, that is 287 lumens. Now I'm going to turn it off and then back on again and then switch it. This puts it into that red and light mode. Now I'm just going to put this down here on the bench there. Now I'm walking back now. Let's walk back further. So I'm about 10 meters away from it now. The video probably doesn't do it justice, but yeah, you can definitely see that from 10 meters away, and probably more. In fact, getting close to it, I can definitely feel it. It's bright. Holding it out like this, you can see the area that it covers. Now let's turn that back off. Oh, sorry. Let's put it back onto medium there. So that's using the body light there, as I mentioned, but there is also the option that you have the lights that are at the end of it. So if I hold this down for 2 seconds, that will then turn this around. Now hopefully you'll notice there, so the lights that are on the end, it's a very white light. If I press this again for 2 seconds, the body light is a little bit more of a warmer light. Again, just an observation, it's not really an issue. The light here on the end, so as mentioned before, so rather than it being low, medium and high, instead this comes automatically on to the high option with this, which is 85 lumens. Again, you know, it does what it needs to do. If I was out walking the dogs around the pond, then I'd be able to walk the dogs, have absolutely no issues whatsoever. Can we see this tree? You can just about see that tree. That's maybe 10 meters ahead. Definitely can't see the waterfall over there, but you might have just seen that bat that flew over. Now again, with the UI on this, I'll need to turn it off, back on, and then press it again. Now this drops it down from the high mode onto the low mode, and this is 23 lumens. And again, you know, it does what it needs to do. I can easily walk around here. I can see 3 or 4 meters ahead of me. And I can get around any obstacles should I need to get around any obstacles. Now if I need to switch it back onto that main body light, I can do a long press and then that will turn it back on to the main body light. Now the main body light that was on before was on medium, and this has kept it again on medium. So let's just get back here and let's just quickly cycle through all of these again. So let's turn it off. There's off. So we're low, medium, high, and then the red and light flash, and then it goes off. I'll put it back onto low again, do a long press, and we're on to the end, which we're on high, and there is low, and then I can do another long press, and that will put it back onto the body cam. Oh, I forgot, sorry, there's also turbo on this, isn't there? So we've got 1, 2, 3, and there is your turbo. Completely forgot about that, sorry. So turbo on this is 470 lumens, and it does shine up a lot more. So let's get back onto here. There is the tree on the opposite side, which is definitely easier to see. We can now just about see over there the ornamental fountain, waterfall, sorry, and then we might just be able to see just there the trees on the opposite side, but the little island in the middle is definitely easier to see. I forgot about that, and it's just kicked down. Hopefully you'll have noticed that there was a kick down. I guess that's roughly after a minute, but what I'll do is I'll double check to see how that kick down works. But there you go, how it works in the dark. Now I do want to say thank you to Klarus for sending this my way. I've worked with them quite a bit in the past. We have a very good relationship. If I hadn't have liked this, then I would have sent it back to them, or we just wouldn't have made any content today. And I'm certainly under no obligation from them to, you know, I've not been paid to make this content favourably for them. Yeah, as I say, I have a very good relationship with them, and I look forward to future projects with them as well. Now, of course, I'll leave all of their links below so that you can see more from Klarus. I'll also leave some of my social media links below for here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical. And whatever platform you're watching this on, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Holiday with me, so I mean, yes, it flies safely. Every time he goes up there, he has a poo in the background while I'm recording. He's just gone off camera this time. Good boy. God, it's awful. Oh, such a little dog. Anyway, wait. You done? Why does he have to keep eye contact with you? It's like, I'm pooing. Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander EDC doing some summer. Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander EDC. Really do need to make sure I'm plugged in. Now, I do want to say thanks again to Klarus for sending this my way. I forgot what I was going to say. Of course, I was just going to say thanks, wasn't I? I did forget where I was going then for a second. It happens. One happens to forget from time to time. Wednesday. This is definitely going out on the Wednesday. I hope you're all having a lovely hump day. Humpity hump. And yeah, see you Sunday. I need to get out this weekend and film a lot. I feel like having a week off on holiday. I've fallen behind on so much stuff. So there may be a lot of content coming out soon, thick and fast in the ready money round. If you get that reference, you're cool. Yeah, sweet. Have a good one.